Peer behind the veil of fantasy, where dragons roam, planeswalkers duel, and friendships are sparked. A place where games come alive. Whether you're just learning how to tap lands, a Magic the Gathering master, or simply hunting for the perfect family board game, Top Flight Gaming is your new home away from home. Now open behind the mall in Terre Haute at 3175 South 3rd Place. Top Flight Gaming, where every game takes flight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tourney Timmys podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Kearns.
I'm Kay.
I'm Mark.
And today we have a plethora of topics to talk about. First off, what are the best decks? How do you play them? How do you play against them? What's good? What's fun? What's unique? And then we'll kick it off to you, Kay.
I'll pick it up, honestly. I'm ready to talk about this because I feel like I scream it into the aether and it's just not heard.
What?
I'm getting into the meat and potatoes of Blue Farm.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Mm-hmm. It's by far the most popular deck. I mean, its popularity wanes and shifts. There's been some talk amongst some of the top players that if you're just playing seriously, you should play Blue Farm, and that talk has been going on for a while. But funny enough, I think Blue Farm doesn't necessarily suffer from success, but rather a misunderstanding of fundamentals on what's going on in CDH. People are very, very used to playing in their specific archetype, and they want to play their way, and they don't want to adjust. And so the concept breaks down, I think, into mulligans, for one, on what you need to look for. Two, really understanding what a deck is trying to do and what it's presenting to you. And the last one is, how does your game plan play against it? Is it better? Is it worse? Can it play in between the lines, sort of? That's more of an idea for stacks. But for Blue Farm as a whole, I mean, Mark, you've probably been the one who's been playing it most recently out of us and taking it to events, because I haven't taken it to an event in a while.
Yeah, I've played it off and on I've been off of it mostly for the last 6 months, but before that I played it about the last 3 years or so. And honestly, yeah, it's one of the most popular decks. Everybody wants to play it because, it's got some of the strongest cards in the format in the 98, but in reality, it's an intricate deck, but I think that it's just a little bit overhyped sometimes, just because it's one of the few decks I've seen people play, we'll say, suboptimally and still manage to win a game just because of the sheer amount of card advantage that is in the deck and how explosive it can be. Yeah, at higher tables you have to really know what you're doing with the deck to do well and all of that, but in your average CDH game, you almost just stumble into wins sometimes with it, and it's kind of frustrating to just watch everybody feed them into oblivion.
Yeah, I think a big component of that is table talk. At least in some areas that I've gone to, I've sat at tables before where I've had the most talkative person you would have ever seen in the universe just be there, just calling out everything, possible plays that they can make, and they were friendly, which is fine. And then I've also sat at tables where it's you could hear crickets, and it's you really need to talk to your opponents here. If you're looking at your opponents and you're staring down, let's say Ristic Study, because that's going to be the biggest one. The deck Blue Farm either is trying to explode with Necropotence or instant Adnons. If they don't have mana presented, they're not going to have Adnons. And if they have their explosivity, then you just need to be ready to interact with them in some way, shape, or form. If you're in green, you got Beseiju. If you're in white, you got Silence. In blue, you got Counterspells. There's a bunch of things that Necropotence has going for it that allows you to interact with it. And if you just choose to play slower, then they get less cards, so they have to play slower. All you have to pay attention to, which honestly, I would say the most broken card in Blue Farm is Smothering Tithe over everything else is in the deck.
I love that
Like,
card.
the only thing that deck lacks on is mana. It does not have insane mana production like the green decks with Cradle have. And so if you just give them Smothering Tithe, they just dump out everything that they wanted to play on turn 2 that they couldn't until turn 7.
Yeah,
So,
I was off Final Fortune for a long time in my list just because I honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I think I was just playing it wrong. I was just being way too greedy with the Final Fortune. I was just like trying to pretty much like do all my setup and then immediately play the Final Fortune and just watch it get countered and then whatever, or like they'd let it resolve and I eat a silence and I'm just dead.
Mhm.
But now I'm pretty much using it like letting the control player like do their thing, let them like deal with whatever threats they need to, and then once they're like mostly tapped out or like just got done dealing with somebody else and think that they're about to untap, I'll just Final Fortune in and like
Mhm.
basically use it as a way to like basically put an instant speed win on the stack. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Time Walk at instant speed, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just 2 red, Time
I've
Walk,
just
2
learned
mana.
it's a lot safer to sit on that card and like let somebody else try to do their
Mhm.
thing and then be like, "Oh, well, now that we're not dead to you, I win."
Yeah, it's very good at getting you sneaky wins the same way that Born Upon the Wind, because it also functions very nicely with Necropotence lines, things like that.
Yeah.
Because so like
Speaking of, I need to put Rite of Flame back in my
What
library.
are the best cards, or what are the best decks that go against Blue Farm?
naturally decks that don't need to cast spells are decks that Blue Farm struggles against.
Yeah,
So that historically is going to be Magda in Sisay. To a certain extent, also Kenrith, but it can usually hit the gas pedal hard enough where they don't need to worry about them. But
a big
uh,
one for
as-
me, at least locally, is Tyam, which is also I'm not
Mhm.
sure if it's quite in the top 16 on this list. It's close if it's not. I think it is if we like consolidate some of these Thrasios lists because there's a bunch of them. But Tyam's very very good to the point that I've actually got Curse Totem, Drana and Linvala, and Disruptor Flute all in my deck.
Mhm.
Um, Drana and Linvala and Curse Totem are just both really good against the Magda decks, the Tyam decks, the Thrasios piles. I'm still on Draneth Magistrate. I know a lot of people have been off of that and like, oh, it doesn't really do anything to progress my board. I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't care. It's 2 mana. I don't have to worry about their command zone, and they have to beat me with cards that are randomly drawn. Like, I'm more than okay with that.
Mhm. You're just limiting zones of play.
Yeah.
What about you, Kearns? How do you feel playing against Blue Farm? Because you're usually the one who likes to jam early with creature decks.
I hate playing against Blue Farm. Not because I jam early and feed them a lot of cards, which I do.
Mhm.
Uh, but more specifically is that everybody just doesn't care about the Blue Farm because for some reason people forget that it is the best deck in the format,
Mhm.
arguably. Is that whatever Blue Farm does, it doesn't have to turn. They can do even like a turn 2 Archivist of Ogma goes hard.
Oh yeah.
Every single thing they put in their deck will inch their way further to a win. And if they go for a win in turn 3 and get stopped, turn 4 they're going to attempt to go for a win. Or if not, they will put everybody far behind, or they'll just jam a Rhystic Study or a Remora or a Tithe. Then
Mhm.
instead for their turn 4, then turn 5 win. Right?
Honestly, though, I feel like that's pretty much every deck in the top 16 right now. Like, if you're not doing one of those 3 things of like either trying to win, progressing your board state to the point to where you're setting up for either a win attempt or a protected win,
The
or
Mhm.
putting your opponents back, like, what are you doing at that point in
I
CDH?
I agree, but the difference is Blue Farm does it so quietly. I think that's the thing. I like for like when Magda tries to go for a win, you just have to count to 5 and be like, okay, on their turn, they're going to tap their 2 dwarves, and they currently have 3 treasures. They're going to try to go for a win, or go for a combo
Well-
piece, or academy manufacturer. Like if they you can see the win coming.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
all of a sudden, like you countered their turn 1 Ristic study, or something, and you're like, okay, they're doing nothing. They're land pass. Land
Mhm.
pass? I'm scared. If a blue farm land pass, because I know they're most likely have counter spells, or they're just holding up a tutor. So when they tutor, have the backup counter magic for it if they can. They're just going to, with their 3 lands and nothing else, they're going to Thassa's Demonic or play land Thassa's, Tainted Pact. Like
Mhm.
it's frustrating when I try to be like, hey, I'm playing this, these like I like there's a difference between land, land, Lotus Petal, Mana Vault, crack it, turn 1 ring. Then you Mind Break trap it. 99% of the time you do that, especially if it's a blue farm deck. But then turn 2 they land pass, turn 3 land Thassa's Demonic. I've seen it, and
Right.
it
I mean, it happens, but it's not like
because
the
they
game plan. Like, if they have it, sure, they have it. But
Mhm.
correct.
most of the time, it's more like, all right, I'm gonna keep this turn 2 Ristic study because, like, on average, since Mana Crypt got banned, you're not turn 1ing it unless you like got a Gemstone Cavern and an Ancient Tomb or something dumb.
Yeah.
Like it happens, but it's not
Mhm.
common.
Yeah.
The most of the time it comes down to, is there a turbo deck at the table, and are they going to just jam through uh, a fish or a Ristic study, or what are the other 2 decks at the table? Are they able and willing to stop the turbo deck? Because if they're not equipped for it, then you're feeding Blue Farm to stop the turbo deck, and then everybody wants to act surprised when Blue Farm does Blue Farm things with the rest of their cards in hand.
Mhm. Yeah, in those situations, I just talk with the table. I'm like, I'm down to draw here, but it's just like otherwise, it's like I can set myself back very far and watch this game play out where I don't win, or I just take the L here. So it's like I'll present the draw first, but it's like otherwise we're losing right now.
It's like blue farm, because they are 4-color really good stuff. You don't
Mhm.
see a bad card in their deck, so every time they play it, it's a like a 4 out of 5 card. That's
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, I could like whatever with the exception of their blue farm, their 2 worst cards in their deck is their 2 commanders. Right? But it's still built around it. Like and if you disagree, you don't see Crom in 99. You don't see Timna in a 99 unless it's already a white-black deck. If it's those 2 colors, you might see Timna. You don't see Timna in the 99 and any 3-color decks that have white and black for the most part, unless it's like an Ishin deck, but you don't see that in CEDH. But like that's the thing, is that the 2 weakest cards in their deck are their commanders, and they're both all right. Right? You don't see Chromcasts at all anymore. Because there's just better cards. Right?
Say, I cast Crom a
I miss
lot.
my boy. I cast him so much more than probably anybody else that plays this deck.
True. Like it's a very good card, but it's 5 mana. For 5
Yeah.
mana, like I'd rather play any. There's so many better 3 and
Yeah.
4 drops now than a 5 drop might trigger good damage though, really good with Temna. But it's the type of thing where the card quality of that deck is frustratingly it's just frustrating. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's
Yeah.
honestly pretty much like Esper Splash Red at this point. Like,
Mhm.
there's less than 10 red cards in my entire deck. I can tell you that.
Even that's average. Deflecting
Yeah.
Slot, Wheel, Underworld Breach, maybe Bergie in some lists if Just
Yeah,
depending
I've
on
been
how
off
turbo they
Tourney
are.
for a while just because I don't do enough with the red mana. Like the backside's more relevant than the front, honestly.
correct Hornfell, but
Professional Face Breaker's still an all-star. That's one
Yeah.
of them that like some people have been off of, and I think they're just insane for. Card's cracked. Between having Menace itself and it's both mana and card advantage if you need it in a pinch, like yes, please.
and it's really broken with Smothering Tithe.
Yeah, I've recently actually had somebody crack their treasure tokens with Professional Facebreaker to stop me, actually. They managed to pull off the March of Swirling Mist to stop me in the middle of the combo. And I was just like, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was
Yeah.
fun.
But yeah, my main issue with the Thrasios piles compared to Blue Farm is like there's not that much you can do to stop Thrasios decks short of just playing a field wipe. Like they're going to draw cards. They're going to have all the control of if and when they draw cards. They're really good at storing mana, whether it's the Rograk Thrasios lists that are playing Chatterstorm, or if it's Yoshimaru Thrasios mid-range of just like, yeah, I'll do it when I need to. They're really good at just holding up mana and being like, what? I only have 2 cards in hand. I'm like, you have like 12 treasure tokens. Don't even with so it's like a little less inconspicuous, but a lot harder to actually do anything about. And it's frustrating as the Blue Farm player to be playing against that when like everybody's like, oh well, you can't let him draw cards, and I'm like, do you have a plan for this Thrasios pile? Because you can stop me from drawing cards, but if you're not also stopping them from drawing cards, you're just dead.
I did make a dog thras list. I just took out a lot of the cute stuff because like people did well with it for a little bit, and then it just seems like it died off. Like it's getting decent results, but not as good as they were.
What's the biggest difference between Dog Thras and Derevi? Because whenever I look at the difference between lists, they're always like 10 to 12 cards off.
Yeah, and I disagree. I play many more cards that you don't see in Derevi.
So like, Derevi decks are generally centered around how quickly and consistently can I find the One Ring and draw a shit ton of cards.
They're just turbo One Ring decks. With the Dog Thras, you can actually just sit there and either play a mid-range game plan, or what most people do is it's a Rograk Thrasios deck, but with white instead of red. So they have the Grand Abolishers to go for their wins and stuff. For my list, I play it more mid-range. I actually take out some of the cute things that are only good with like their counterparts. Like for example, I don't have Devoted Druid in my list. I just straight up don't. Like the other cards that I have for Devoted Druid, like Swift Reconfiguration, that card sucks. I'd rather just see a Source of Plowshares. That make me feel so much better. Like to be real, like anytime, like I am the most notable person around here that will submerge a Seaborn Muse the end step it was played. Like that is my like signature play recently, and just being able to be ready for any Seaborn Muse that hits the board or an Enduring Vitality, you can just exile it and you just go, okay, pop hits the board, pop it. Like just if you can negate their extreme mana progression, which is only like a few cards, that's Cradle. Minamo also helps their Cradle, but that only matters if they already have it or not. Growing Rites of Itlamok, as well as Enduring Vitality, and for the more turbo decks, which are the Dog Thras and Rog Thras list, that's going to be the Chatterstorm type stuff. Those are much harder to interact with, but still, like these things give them a surge of mana that aren't their combo pieces. That being said, I think there are still plenty of board wipes that are amazing that people do not play, and it is frustrating. Like, if you're not an Adnos deck and you're in red, like, and you have a problem when the board gets clogged up, why are you not playing Blasphemous deck? That is a one red answer the board, and you're safe. Like, very rarely is there anything that large, unless it's for some reason an OBM token that just got fed to an oblivion. Which
yeah,
happens like once every like 300 games.
Yeah, or some weirdos playing a shy again, and it's 14-14 plus by now, and you're just like, all right, well, I guess your murder bird can stick around, but
hmm
that's only relevant like once every 6 months. So
Yeah. Or with us, it's a carnage every time he sits down.
oh, we're
Uh,
talking about okay.
do you do you think people should be in general in these lists should be playing more board wipes or
Absolutely.
I mean,
So in my
there's
blue farm deck, I'm actually playing Supreme Verdict because I just got tired of getting to a point where Kinnan or Thrasios decks or just decks in general are just going so wide that you either can't swing through or have to like politic your way into drawing a single card with Temna, but they want you to answer everything, or like politic into this field wipe resolving. And I'm just like, show me the reprieve or like the unsub or the sink into stupor or a hard casted mind break trap, or like this is happening. We're not spending 10 minutes talking about this. Like, does it resolve? Are we good?
hmm Yeah, I love Supreme Verdict. I have that in my short guy list. That thing is an absolute all-star with the popularity of Thraskis in like just my area. Oh my god. Like it was just like probably 3 or 4 people at the start that played like some Thrasios list, and then all of a sudden I think there's like 13 people playing a Thrasios brew right now. Between
Yeah, it
like
went like 0 to 100 in my area too. Like to the point where like I was so low on submerged locally for so long.
but for me it was
And
great.
like now I don't have a choice but to like play it in my non-Adnaz decks. Like it's still not in my blue farm deck. I'm not taking
hmm
5 for it off Adnaz. I'm just not. But in decks that don't play Adnaz, it's so good. Like you were saying earlier, of like putting somebody's Seedborn Muse back on top of their deck, or
hmm
whatever other creature they're relying on, whether it's an OBM or whatever. Like it's just so good.
it's really good against Atali as well because they usually have to target Atali to copy it, then you submerge the
hmm
target.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Also, you can really mess people up if you respond to a fetch and then submerge something.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Keep that in mind. Uh, People forget about that line of play. They go play land for turn, fetch, and you go, okay, that during vitality, it's back in your deck. Get rid of it. Just for
Yeah, I've
example.
had it one time where I subtlety'd somebody's commander and they were crazy enough to put it on top of their deck, and then we immediately watched a time twister resolve.
Ooh, it's just
Okay, we're talking about enduring vitality a lot, which is very very good. In a lot of
mhm.
great decks, but there is the new green card that got spoiled.
Oh jeez.
Um, how do you
Which
feel
one?
about that one? The winner, the person becomes the card. What's the
Oh, I don't remember the name of the card, but it's a 3 mana 2/4. When it enters the
Oh,
battlefield,
the
you
Formidable
Punisher.
can discard a
Speaker?
card and
Formidable
search for a
Speaker.
creature and put it into your hand. And it has an activated ability of pay 1 to tap it to untap target permanent. It's really strong.
A one-shot Fauna Shaman, and we're already not playing Fauna Shaman. So, like, really, you're just using this as a glorified untapper or
It's a
Manama?
2/4 untapper plus a tutor though, and like you can discard an extra land or literally anything else. You don't need to go get whatever you want. You don't have to wait to untap with it
Sure,
like you
but
do
this
with Fauna
is
Shaman or anything like that.
yeah. But
It's
when you
better.
analyze it at mana value, like, is this not just an Imperial Recruiter in green?
I mean, yes, but
But it's
it's not
better
restricted on what
because
it can
any
find.
creature.
So it's actually
hmm
better. Like you can get Seedborn Muse, you can get whatever other creature you would need to finish a combo. Like you could go get your Aboro Breeze Caller, Seedborn Muse, a Kinnan. Like it doesn't matter. You
Well,
can get whatever
it's a
you want.
creature. And it's
Yeah.
like the
You said what's its power?
it's a
It's a
2/4.
2/4.
Oh, that's another Delny card. For fuck's sake,
Yeah.
Yeah.
please stop getting new cards.
So yeah, like
Um,
that's the thing. I'll put it like this: I play Animar for fun. I don't
Actually,
really
how is
think
it? Hold
too.
on. How is it worded for Delny?
Triggered ability.
It's a
So it
trigger.
Well,
works.
yeah, but
It's
like,
a
how is it worded? Can you like link me the card? Because depending on how it's worded, you either have to discard 1 card for 2 creatures, or
uh,
2
yeah,
cards for two
oh,
creatures.
not a problem. So I'll just put it in the
I
chat.
think it is if you discard a card. Like discard a card if you do tutor.
Okay,
So you
so when
probably
this
would
feature
have to
enters, you
discard
may
two.
discard a card. If you do, okay.
So yeah, you would have to discard 2 with Delny.
Yep.
Yeah. But as I was saying with Animar, is that Animar has to be in play, 3 counters, and if you draw this card and you have 2 green, you go for the win. You
Yeah.
pass this card for 1 green, you get Ancestral Statue. Ancestral Statue, bounce 1,000 times, bounce back the thing, play it
Yeah,
again, Walking
yeah.
Ballista, win. Literally,
For
you
your
one
analysis,
card
this is
is a
good,
win
but it
con
just
for me.
I'm just
And-
thinking about this in the context of like Thrasios decks and like what they like actually need right now. Because like
Yeah.
I guess you could play this in a slower Thrasios deck. Like I chose to take Dog Thras into the like mid range style of it instead of the Storm, which I've been loving a lot. And it's very funny when people see you have like an 8/8 Yoshimaru that's swinging at him for no reason.
Also, any deck that wants to that plays Cloudstone Curio and has green in their pips is playing this card. Because
Yeah, Cloudstone Curio is like so far down on like what I think you really want to be doing in CDH.
I think it's really good.
I think it's really
like if
think
you're
it's really
doing
good in
that
the Rock
strategy, like 100%, I can see that being super helpful. But like those strategies right now, I just don't think are on top. You know?
I'm pretty sure that isn't Cloudstone Curio played in the Rog Thras decks right now?
Yeah.
And it's doing
It
really
depends
well.
on the type of build because there's a bunch of different ones. Like nobody plays Polymorph Rog Thras right now.
No.
There's the ones that play more artifact builds because they're doing Hullbreaker Horror, Isochron Scepter, and like if they're doing those, they have kits with Dramatic Reversal. There's the old older version which is Turbo, but it's not Cradle Storm, and then there's the Cradle Storm version of Rograk Thrasios.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Cradle Storm versions still play Cloudstone Curio though.
Not that I've seen.
Okay. I haven't really looked at them a whole lot. I know I was, but that was back when Dockside was still legal because I was on Dargo Thrasios, and man, I missed that deck.
Yeah, if you're in Dargo Thrasios, I could see this being good, but
oh my god, it was insane.
Yeah, but for like this context, like right now in Cradle Storm, you could use it because it just helps you, I guess, a little more consistently try to find your other cards. But the thing is, funny enough, a lot of actually Rograk Thrasios decks are pretty low on creatures compared to the other Thrasios decks.
Yeah,
and they do that. Yeah, they do that on purpose. And so the reliability of like not only having this one, actually that's like if it had haste, I'd be like, this card's like absolutely insane. Or if this was an artifact, that would actually be baller. But the fact that they put it on a creature makes it interesting because like if you're wanting to do something like this is never something that you search for with like a finale. Like because you just go get the actual creature you want. Because like there's technically only one card that you need in your hand to cast, and that's the Eldrazi, whatever the heck its name is. So it's just like this card is like trying to already increase your count of creature tutors, which is already high enough where you just don't really need any more. Like if you're, I don't know, it's an odd card to look at. I could see the desire for something like this just because of untapping Cradle the One Ring or other weird things like that. But
do those decks play Agatha's Soul Cauldron normally? Because like that is an activated ability that could be relevant.
I've seen some do it in Dog Thras. I know Frankie Thras plays Agatha Soul Cauldron. So like in there, I guess that one's pretty good too because that deck actually struggles with making mana compared to the other Thrasios decks. But this would be a big help for those getting an untapper. Yeah, I could see that one being good there. It also depends because there's turbo and mid range version of that Frankie list.
Yeah,
like it's good, but I don't think I would rate it even like at an 8. I'd be like, this is a playable card you have for you, depending on like how niche your strategy is, and depending on how beneficial this is for you. Because like in Turbo, this is probably just too much mana, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's definitely gonna find more of a home in like the mid-range style decks of like
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go fast. I just want to be consistently good. Tevish Thrasios, like it's got 4 toughness. That's a big old butt to protect Tevish with. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have reach or flying, but like it's still a relevant body.
Well, so the problem I have looking at it this way right now, because it's like a card that I will never disagree is one of the best cards in the game. That's Merchant Scroll. Won't disagree with that. But my gripe with that card is that you
Oh,
you never grab anything that that helps your opponents ever. It's only the most greediest things ever if you cast that spell.
yeah.
So like it's only getting, for example, dramatic reversal. You're not getting a counter spell because if you're doing that, you're taking a line to lose the game.
Yeah.
And so with this, if you ever want to play it early and you're not immediately casting the creature, you give your opponents a full turn of setup to prep for what you're about to do. And so that means that the play patterns is with this for winning lines become that you have to sandbag this, and I don't like dead cards
So
being in my hand.
what I just pieced together in my head while we were talking about this is any deck that plays Hazel Brewmaster loves this magic card.
This
Um
one as well. I guess you could do it there. But
Yeah, you
do
just
they
go,
need it
oops, my
though?
devoted druid's exactly where I want it to be. Go get my Hazel's Brewmaster. Do I win now? Like, excuse
Yeah,
me?
I guess, but like, does TNT need this? They have like all the tutors.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely neat that it's just a creature line at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have access to any recruiters, so like at that
Well,
point,
yeah, they do.
it's
It's Recruiter the Guard.
S- So my my
sorry.
my
I was talking about Tevish Thrasios, not Temna, so that's
Oh,
why I
okay,
was
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that.
what are currently what are the best 3-drop cards? Like you've got Professional Facebreaker. Some
No,
people play 6
Savine's is far better. Yeah, Savine's,
Sabine's
Fierce, and
Reclamation,
the Deflecting Swat would be the 3 best.
specifically. Creatures
creatures.
specifically.
Okay.
Okay, creatures. It would be
Professional
Endur-
Facebreaker 6.
honestly, I think
Enduring
Enduring
Vitality.
Vitality go above both of those.
Yeah, Enduring
Um,
Vitality goes pretty hard. I'm assuming we're not even talking about just commanders in general at
No,
this
no.
point.
Otherwise, I
Yeah.
would have just said, like,
Yeah,
Timna's a good consistent piece, but like right now, based on how the meta is, Timna consistently needs something that creates evasive creatures. Like a Loyal Apprentice, for example, is beautiful
I'm,
with Timna. But
I'm
if you
gonna
have
go a
just
little
Timna, it's
outside the
okay.
box, and I'm gonna say Phyrexian Metamorph, even though it's a 4-drop. You only pay 3 mana and 2 life for it. Let's be real.
I concur.
Yeah.
Faebarrow Elder, Eternal Witness.
Opposition Agent.
Mhm.
Card has
Yeah,
seen a little bit of a
it's
downtick recently. Card is still insane. Needs to see
Mhm.
more play, and I love it to death.
Dude, the amount of times these green decks want to tutor, like put an Oppo in
Yeah,
play.
yeah. Everybody like sometimes it's not all the time, but sometimes it's just correct to just get the opposition agent out there if people aren't holding up a bajillion mana to like Court of Calling in response or something dumb.
Mhm.
The amount of times I've just seen people not progress their board because they're like, "Oh, I got to get somebody with this oppo," and I'm like, or you could just like try to put it out there and
Yeah.
play the game.
Mhm.
Ranger Captain of Eos is still really
Oh
strong.
yeah.
That card's so good. Being able to use it defensively, reuse it with Agatha Soul Cauldron, like it's just
Mhm.
disgusting good.
For example, in my dog Thras list right now, I'm debating on playing Snapcaster Mage because I'm not doing the storm stuff, so my creatures really need to provide some value. So they either draw cards or make mana. Really, like it's funny when you look at the list. Like the only 2 creatures that don't do that would be like Derevi, Emil, and a Bora Breeze Caller. Everything else do something that I need, whether that be mana. I guess you can include Ewit, I guess, but I use it for recursion like 99% of the time more than combo.
Right.
So it's like Snapcaster, just another body on the board that allows me to reuse my efficient like 1-drops and instant sorceries. I don't think I have any in that list right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, because I'm
Shout
off
out
Green
to
Sun.
Shout out to my favorite frog in the format. Psychic Frog is an all-star.
Mhm.
Nobody can convince me I'm wrong. Card's great. It's just so good. Something about people just not knowing what's in my hand and not wanting to swing into me because I might have 3 lands in hand and I might just tell them to, oops, your creature died. Like,
hmm
or just, oh, look, this like 4/5 flies now. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw a card.
One thing I will say in general when it comes to the Thrasios decks, if I can try to like bring the concept back, is that Thrasios, without even analyzing what other commander that they have in the command zone, they're going to be doing a lot of the same thing. That's going to be Shifting Woodlands, Gaia's Cradle. Depends on the player if they want to have like Deserted Temple in their deck. They're going to have Minamo that's going to benefit their Gaia's Cradle and their One Ring. Like they have a lot of really good synergistic lands that are very strong right now. Like one of the cards that, well, I was going to mention, I specifically find Mistrise Village in an absurd card.
Oh, yeah.
At least in my games. It just keeps winning me games. Like, the card's so good.
I'm playing it in Blue Farm right now because it's so
same.
good. Like, here's this uncounterable Adnos. We can fight after it resolves, and I have 10 counter spells in my hand. I don't know.
I just like having an uncounterable Intuition or uncounterable Gifts and Given go into my turn and then uncounterable Silence.
Yeah,
like
it's
it's so disgusting.
I love it when it works and hits.
Mhm.
I hate it when I don't have enough mana to use it. Because when you use Mistrise Village, you have to use the land and another source
Mhm.
for 2 extra mana to make it uncounterable.
Yeah,
Which
I
will
play
take.
I play way more free spells compared to the average player. Mark can attest to that.
Sure.
And so, like for me, it's just go like, oh, this free spell's now uncounterable. Sure, tap 2 lands.
Not gonna lie, half the reason Vexing Bubbles in my Blue Farm deck.
No, take that. No, we don't allow that in this house. Only in Vintage, baby.
You
That's how I
can play
control the
Spirit
table.
Magic or not at all, sir.
Let me cast 9 spells for free. Come on.
No, stop.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's only fun when I'm doing it.
No. But in general, so it's like these decks are looking to put together mana, reduce the cost of Thrasios, and utilize strong green cards like Mana Dorks to help their Cradle count and progress their mana even further. That's why these decks kind of just exploded mana. You guys are having fun over there.
We got a
Yeah,
guest
of course
today.
we are. There's a cute kid on the screen.
We got our 8-year-old soon-to-be Magic player with us today.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's working on learning how to read. She already has her first Magic deck. She just doesn't know what any of the cards say yet.
Get her to Pauper, dude. Let's play some Pauper.
We bought 2 60-card constructed decks forever ago. I bought her mono red burn deck, and I've got a mono blue tempo deck back in like the Curious Obsession standard era.
Okay, all right. But back to it, that if you want to attack Thrasios, you want Curse Totem, you want to answer Cradle in some way, shape, or form. Damping Sphere, Beseiju.
Damping Sphere is so good in any deck that you don't need to combo off in. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that card's strong. Like,
if you don't care about your storm count, play that Magic card.
For sure. That card's just really, really good. And then board wipes. Like, I'm not saying for you to play a crap ton of them, but like you should reasonably be able to like cast a board wipe in a game if you need it at any given notice. Like, okay, I'm going to be in this random pod. Okay, there's 2. Maybe there's 2 Thrasios decks. Okay, there's a board wipe in my deck. So, like, let me see a hand that has options to find me a way to cast that card.
Yeah, I think if you're not playing like pedal to the floor turbo, there should be anywhere from 1 to 3 field wipes in the 99, like pretty much at all times right now. I'm on Toxic Deluge and Supreme Verdict, both in Blue Farm, and honestly, if I wasn't on Adnaz, I'd be on Blasphemous Act 2. Card is just insane. I know we talked about it earlier.
1 mana, clear the board.
Yeah. Something about 1 mana, oops. Yeah, it's just insane.
So
Yeah,
how do
who's
you
Toxic
feel?
Deluge the best board wipe?
That's really good. How do people feel about sowing Myco Spawn?
I mean,
Four
the card's
mana.
really good if you're doing Cradle Storm stuff. Like
I mean,
if you have
it's
like,
nice that it's nice that it's a cast trigger. Nobody wants to, use their trick bind on a sowing Mako Spawn trigger when they're just gonna get Thorkled in the next turn cycle. I think that it's good in that sense. Crop rotation obviously eats every mental misstep under the sun.
Yeah.
So it's like really good in that it's just harder to interact with, and it's just unique in what it does.
If you kick it, it exiles target land.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the mirror match and your only real threat is the other Thrasios player, then sure. But
Mhm.
in CDH specifically, because it's not a 60 card 1v1 format, you have to be really careful about when, where, and if you put one particular opponent behind. Because the second that you do that, you just became responsible for the other two players at the table. You can't put the player that's ahead a little bit behind the other two, watch one of the other two put a win attempt on the stack, and then expect help stopping it. You're either on your own or you just lost the game.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Like, it is by nature a free-for-all format, but at the same time, you can view it as I have 3 allies and 3 opponents, depending on what I'm casting.
I have
Which
no
means
friends at tables.
I'm sorry.
I have no friends at tables. Oh hey, can I play this can I play this Tidespout Tyrant? Why are you countering it? What do you mean? I'm only going to win.
Yeah,
You better
I've
play that
strict
Kyber
serenaded so
first,
many
baby.
creatures from you.
Oh gosh. Oh, quick question about Strict Serenade. I know
Sure.
you love it, Kay.
Oh, 100%.
How, because I know you run it over an offer you can't refuse.
No, I run both.
No,
I know
yeah, I
you.
run
If you were to have one, Strict Serenade or an offer, which one would you choose?
It depends. What archetype deck am I playing? Turbo, mid-range, or control?
A 4-color deck.
Let's just say Blue Farm.
Blue Farm.
Blue Farm? In my meta, I would probably look at the strict Serenade before I would the offer. There's a lot of creature combo by me.
Would you rather run offer or dispel?
Offer for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it
That's
just counters more.
Yeah.
It does. I will agree with anybody. I hate giving any player 2 treasures. I have given a player I have countered a demonic consultation with an offer, and a person did have a professional facebreaker on the field. They exiled the next card. It was I can't remember if it was demonic, but literally the next card they just did it. They was like, oh, let me find a counter spell. Let me try to dig, and the next card was not demonic but Tainted Pact.
Tainted Pact.
And they won that way. And I was like, well, you lose some.
Yeah, I had a funny game with Blue Farm not too long ago where I had a Delnian play and I went for a Thoracle line. And they waited until my demonic consultation resolved, and they enduranced my graveyard on top of my deck in response to the first Thoracle trigger. And I just let it go. I found my Tainted Pact, and then I had my Tainted Pact in my hand, and I Tainted Pact in response to the second trigger. It just won that way. It was so dumb. But
Yeah.
I think a fair comparison to like an offer you can't refuse is I think that now that the meta slowed down and we're off like turbo.deck 24/7, I think that people need to reconsider being on Arcane Denial again.
The card's so
I am
fast.
more than okay. I am more than okay with my opponent drawing cards on a later turn that they are no longer actively trying to win the game than I am with immediately giving them mana to either continue storming off or to let that resolve and then play the other counterspell that's in their hand now that they have the mana to do so.
It's also a cantrip, let's be real.
Yeah, I've also just used it in the middle of a counter war of like, oh, okay, like somebody played this Mind Break Trap, everybody passed priority. I'm going to Arcane Denial my own spell and just Ancestral for 2 mana. Like, yes, please. I'll draw 3
Mhm.
cards.
Yeah, like you can do some niche things like that. I've been preaching that Arcane Denial is like really good, and if you're wanting a counter spell that hits everything, you just play that over anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I think that card is a little bit better than Delay. Not by much, but definitely a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's, honest to God, it's like Mana Drain, Dovin's Veto, Arcane Denial for me are like the top 3 2-mana counter spells for me right now. And probably in that order, just because Mana Drain can hit anything.
I would probably say personally Dovin's Veto, but I'm definitely playing Control way more often than you.
Yeah.
You do love your blue.
I didn't before, but it's kind of where I had to be. Like, people forced me into this position where they're just like all trying to jam. Like, well, if you're all trying to jam, I'm gonna stop all of you.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
see.
fair. I've tried to play Turbo and just like kind of match energies with that, and it's just like I can do it. Like I play Yoshimaru Silas pretty efficiently for like the deck, and like I can jam wins, turn 2, turn 3, not care about mystics. I fed somebody on our server 48 cards in a turn and won that turn. I found my Force of Will before with top Citadel combo before they could find a counterspell. Countered their counterspell, and then my next card was Ranger Captain. I was like, all right, well, are we done here now? Like, so it can be done, but in general, that's not really my style. I'd rather like play mid range, let y'all fight it out, and then just find a window when I can.
Yeah, I mean, looking at everything that's going on, like I see a lot of people are hesitant on changing their. I don't want to say main deck. It could be like the few decks they're just like, I take these 2 events, I know these decks, and then they're just like, no, I don't play that card because this one's just better. And I'm like, is it though? And so, like, people have too much cute stuff in their decks.
And I think that a lot of people just don't take accountability, like with me saying of like, hey, I think I was just playing Final Fortune wrong in the past. A lot of people don't reflect on that well and like realize necessarily what they were doing wrong. They're just like, oh, this deck's bad or this card's bad or whatever, instead of like, oh, well, maybe I could have done that differently.
Yeah, in context, these cards have a lot of different ways to play the game.
So my question is, one of the issues is that we're keep on like a lot of players do just continue playing the same deck over and over again, not doing a lot of changes until they're kind of like forced to.
Yeah.
But then my question is, like, when I was maining Animar 2 to 3 years ago, I had a deck called Animar Tryouts, and I would throw in any card that I felt helped with the meta. I added Treasure Nabber for a while, which was 2 in red. They tap an artifact that's now mine. It threw off everybody's tempo, but it never. I basically, whenever it landed, I never got any mana, which is what Animar kind of needed in my list.
Yeah.
But it's like same as that, where like trying, like I agree, there are a lot of pet cards, but it's because they're also trying to play it. Like the last tournament I was in for the r/slash server, I added Psychic Possession. I wanted to see how, like, it seemed a little spicy. Some people, I was like, it looks like a fun card. I want to try it. More specifically, if anybody played Shorkai, I would just be tutoring for this card.
No. Who plays Shorkai?
Yeah. It's like that type of it's that type of thing. I am not gonna be playing it in Kitten anymore. It came up twice in the 6 games I was in. I pitched it to Force of Will, and the other time I cannon flipped. One of the cards was a Psychic Possession, no other creatures. And I'm like, well, now I know I have to put in a blue creature instead. So I think I am currently just put in a Glenalandra, but I will be probably changing it for something else. Most
I will say
likely, I'll
you might try Fairy Mastermind in that slot if you're not already on it. I've seen the card do a lot of work recently, and a lot of the argument over time that I've heard and heavily disagree with is like, oh, well, it's just gonna die to Orcish Bowmasters. I'm like, pretty much every creature in the format at one point or another is going to die to an Orcish Bowmasters. Like, somebody's
for
going to draw enough cards to kill it.
it's tough because the question is, and I'll say this again: Ledger Shredder, Fairy Mastermind, and Polywog Prodigy. Like which card will draw you more?
So Ledger Shredder is not card advantage; it's card selection. If you're not
Correct.
interacting with your graveyard, Ledger Shredder is a trap.
Yes, it is.
If you're not feeding breach lines or you're not playing Kefka, for example, of like, oh hey, I want, Delirium in my graveyard, or I want, some fatties to actually reanimate, like Ledger Shredder's like it's whatever. Yes, you see more cards. Yes, it gets bigger to attack or block or whatever. It's not putting extra cards in your hand.
Yeah,
Um
as a Kitten player, I'll probably put in Formidable Speaker in, just so when it enters, I can then just go grab my Hullbreaker Horror. You can't counter it. It's flash
Right.
speed.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that makes sense. And it's not a human either, so like you can just put it into play off a kitten. That's pretty nice.
yeah. So it's I'm gonna try it out in the Kitten deck.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's not blue, which makes me sad because I can't pitch it to force. But oh no,
Right.
how sad.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess for summary, when you play against Blue Farm, you don't have to jam if if you're not the one playing Turbo, and the table has the ability to play slower, which for the most part every single deck can. Don't let Blue Farm have Smothering Tithe. I say that like that needs to be your 11th commandment.
Yeah,
Like Blue Farm
literally,
is.
like I will besiege you with Smothering Tithe on site. I don't care if it's in a Blue Farm deck, a Shurikai deck. If they're already not generating a ton of mana via Cradle or something else, like that Smothering Tithe needs to go away. Even if
Mhm.
you decide to pay 2 mana for your draw step, chances are your opponents aren't. They're just not. Like, statistically, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And once they have, 3 or 4 treasures, the mindset becomes, oh, well, they already have so much. Why not give them the world? And I'm like, okay, I guess we're just not dealing with the problem anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you should just straight up be playing some way to interact with any deck in the top. And this
Yeah.
is like, I don't even want to say it's like 60 card mentality, but it's just like if you're expecting to play against all these decks, what are you planning to do against them?
Even a Tali Primal Conqueror plays Red Elemental Blast and Pyroblast because they expect to deal with counter spells and interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I've been seeing a lot of
and
them
that's
play
one of the
Vexing
fastest.
Shusher.
Yeah, and that's one of the fastest decks in the format right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people reliably in local CDH events turn 1 and turn 2 wins on Atali because people aren't respecting it as a deck or mulliganing properly. Of like, oh, hey, they're going to go for a turn 1 or turn 2 win. Can I deal with it while also not just losing? Or do I need to put this hand back? Or is there somebody else that's also a control deck that hopefully can deal with them or whatever? Like, people aren't considering the other 3 commanders at the table often enough in their opening hands. They're just focusing on their game plan and hoping to survive long enough to do something with it.
By all means, like if you're a deck that like wants to win on turn 3, like if you get there, then you're the one that people need to mulligan for at the table. If you're going to be the one
Right.
who's ready first, like plenty of times we played with our bud Jaws. He plays pirates. He's like every time we sit at the table, like we have like even if you're playing a deck that can win on like turn 2, you wait until after his turn 3 because things go off. His hand's going empty because it's just interaction and combo pieces, and then
Yeah.
everybody else has to throw everything at him. And then you go, cool, my turn.
I think one of the things we're talking about is understanding what our deck's bad at and what cards they put in their deck to make them better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every Blue Farm deck will be playing Smothering Tithe, and if they're not, I think it's a bad deck because that's one of their weakest part is mana generation, and so they add it because it's one of the best mana generators. Some decks, some Blue Farms run not
Mirror
Blue
Maid,
Farm.
Steel Enchantment.
Yeah, Mermaid Seal Enchantment just to get them. And it's the same with Kenneth Malcolm. They will try to play any type of card advantage engine. Just like even if it's like not a like some decks play curiosity effects, right? Like just because hit once, Kedis draw 3 cards. Like that's really good. And like
It also
those are
just
the
wins
cards.
by itself without Malcolm in play too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's what you when you play against a deck, you have to be like, oh, what are they bad at? And how are they trying to or what are they good at and how can you stop them? Like for
I'd be surprised if we don't see more like Malcolm Kedis decks playing curiosity effects that end up on VV just because like it's
They've all
another
slammed
card
it in there.
advantage engine with those effects.
I'm telling you right now, it's in all of their decks.
Okay, that's fine. I haven't looked at their decks. I personally try to avoid playing Malcolm like the plague. I don't enjoy it.
Mhm.
I've
I don't
had
mind
a
it with
vendetta against the card since JLo was printed, and it has remained even after it got banned. I do not like the Magic card. I respect it as far as playing against it goes, but you won't see me sleeving it up anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just acknowledging like what's going on, because Blue Farm as a deck is so malleable in its gameplay that it shifts to what the table wants to do. So that's why when you have a great pilot on Blue Farm, they're like, okay, so at this table, we're going to have a turn 3 win attempt, followed by this person who's probably going to have an unstoppable win attempt on turn 4. I'm going to aim to go right between them and then see how far you can get there. And that's just understanding the average of what can happen in a game. Give or take, move those turns up or down. Like, there will
that
be
statement
variance.
that you just said is the exact reason that Final Fortune is back in my deck, because I just thread that needle with the Final Fortune and try to steal their turn 4 basically and just go off.
Yeah, so it's like you don't need to see the game play out to understand what you're going to be looking at on average. And don't even break it down by like the specific creatures. It's just like, okay, there's a Thrasios deck, probably Mana Dork on turn 1, maybe with some other additional mana. Okay, maybe there's an Esper deck. Okay, they're probably going to either play a 1-drop thing to set them up for next turn, whether that be Soul Ring, Imp Seal, Esper Sentinel, whatever, because that deck does not like Esper just does not have good mana generation. You look at Blue Farm, they're gonna be like, okay, they're gonna try to stabilize their mana first, then establish an engine, or they're trying to jam. So just be wary of their play patterns, and you can tell what they're trying to do. Figure out who's going first, who's going second.
Yep. One of the big things with Blue Farm that I've noticed a lot is like there's so many different ways to build it. You know, it used to be I'm just gonna play this 4-color turbo pile and just jam wins every single turn that I could imaginably do so.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like
I'm gonna turn on the.
I played mid range for a little while where like I was playing counterbalance and top just to control the board without actually using resources. And then Thrasios decks exploded, so now I'm on Drawn on Linvala and Curse Totem and Disruptor Flute to like help with those kind of things. It really just depends on what you're seeing the most of and what tournament results tell you you need to worry about. Obviously for locals, you know, you're only really going to know what you're dealing with if you're active in those areas. But with bigger tournaments, you can definitely take statistics into account and just pay attention to what decks are doing, how well you know the meta of like, hey, this deck is going for turn 2, turn 3. Can I stop them? Is somebody else going to stop them so I don't have to? Because ultimately, you want to have your win con and a way to protect it. You don't want to have to stop somebody and then go for your win attempt with no kind of protection. That's not generally going to get you there. Mysterized Village is really good at helping mitigate that ever so slightly, because you can just, have an uncounterable underworld breach and not really care. Things of that nature. But overall, Thrasios makes things weird.
Yeah, it does, because they, as long as the table is playing slower, it can play at a pace it wants, given what its hand's burst potential is.
Yeah. And it puts Blue Farm in a weird spot, because, you're over here having to pretty much politic to draw a single card extra every turn, while Thrasios is just like, yeah, I'm just going to do whatever I want, and nobody's going to do anything about it. And then when you try, it's like, you're the bad guy. And I'm like, cool. Guess we lose.
The main thing that I honestly noticed, and this is probably just for me playing so much Control, that people don't fully understand on when you're allowed to tap out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to any insane degree. I mean, I have seen the Magical Christmas lanes where the turbo player right after me is just salivating watching the two blue players in front of me tap out, and I'm just like, I literally am not allowed to cast a single spell now. It drives me up a wall, and I have to talk to the table. I'm like, you guys chose to tap out. What's going on? I'm even talking to my opponents on their turns. It's hey, just make sure to leave up some sort of mana. I don't care if you're bluffing. Don't tell me if you have something or don't. I'll literally tell people that. I'm like, don't tell me, because I don't want them to have an idea. The turbo player. It's I am fine not knowing. Hold up mana. If you got something, you've got it. If you don't, it happens. I've seen. Well, I've heard it way too many times where people say, I have to play this right now. And I don't know where that need for something comes from.
I think it's just that their hope is that they untap with it, and it almost never happens.
Untap, or they believe in tempo. They have a strong feeling of, oh, hey, I need to do something on my turn every turn, and I need to do very minimally. I need to do a little bit of stuff on other people's turns. I just need to be active.
Yeah, but I don't mean to cut you off, but there's a big misunderstanding when it comes to tempo, and it really does bother me. Tempo is taking a game action in which it gives you time over your opponents. If you're playing something out saying that I have to play this out for tempo, it's no, you're just simply trying to play on curve, which is not what you do in a combo ridden format.
Yeah, there's a difference. I think what you're getting at is there's a difference between tempo and just trying to be mana efficient and curve out 24/7. Trying to do that in a 4-player format is the definition of greed, in my opinion. In a perfect world, sure, you could get away with it. You always have the 0 mana counter spell. You always have the blue card to pitch to Force of Will or whatever. In reality, you probably don't. And people aren't going to respect the fact that you may or may not have blue card Force of Will with 4 cards in hand, versus if you leave 1 or 2 mana open.
I think it's
whether
also
you're doing anything or not.
One of the issues is, if you're a new player, is that when I was starting out and starting playing CEDH, far too many times I had a counterspell, or I had something in my hand that could have stopped somebody from winning the game. I just didn't think it was that time, or oh, if I had done this or played this dex piece over this one, instead of playing a rule law, I just had to play a curse totem, right? And it's it's that type of mentality, is that especially me as a player, if I have 5 cards in hand, I want to play something on my turn. I want to do something, because if I lose with 5 cards in my hand, I did something wrong. Even if it's going all the way back to I mulligan bad. But if I have cards in my hand, I want to play them. That's why I play Magic. I put cards in hand, cards go on board. Sometimes they leave the board. Then you put more cards on the board. You put cards on top of other people's cards and say, that's now my card. That is now that's now an amphibian downpour. That is a frog, right? It's that type of. I have played too many games where I have kept cards in hand, and I don't like that. It feels wrong to me as a player, and sometimes I make mistakes with that. But
Is
if
that why? Is that why I don't see you play blue decks that often, Kearns?
what do you mean by blue decks?
Just in general, I don't see you play very many like decks that want cards in hand to be able to interact with your opponents. Generally, it's more like parasitic in nature, where it's whether it's a Tali or Cabbage Man or whatever. Of like you're just like, I don't care what you're trying to do. Here's my cards, and I'm gonna try to win 5 times.
It's more for me. Playing those decks are more natural because I don't have to think about every single card in my hand. This card does this one thing, and I will make it do that one thing.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
and it's straightforward.
Curious. No judgment. I was just curious because, like,
Yeah.
for blue players, like if they don't have cards in hand, they almost feel naked. So, like, for a blue player to end a game with no cards in hand, there was either like this colossal counterspell war that they may or may not have won, or they just didn't do enough the entire game.
Yeah, like I am somebody who typically doesn't play what is generally perceived as the best thing to do in a format at any given time, depending on the meta. And I disagree because, and I'm not saying that I have this secret understanding of what's going on in the meta. It's just like, for me, a huge enjoyment for Magic not only comes from the competitiveness, but actually solving that puzzle to get through to your win. And like right now, because I play against so much mid range, like I've played a lot of control. So if I decide to play control, then I still have what feels like a very competitive chance in every single game that I play. And there's multiple options available to me where if I do lose the game, there's something for me to look back over and determine if there was a mistake in my own gameplay. Because like I feel like control is like heavily misunderstood in CDH. Um, like you have to think about things very very differently when it comes to control and multiplayer versus one-on-one, because one-on-one you can go down all the cards in that reload and you're fine because then your opponent doesn't have anything. But in CDH you have to have a constant influx of cards to match everything that you're going for with your opponents and then find your win and go.
Yeah, it's just hard because you have to be careful how you're going about it to not be perceived as the problem, which is like Blue Farm in years past, especially locally for me, was like I just got away with murder, for lack of a better term, of like I could do whatever I wanted. I was drawing cards 24/7. Nobody was playing a million blockers for my Temna attackers. It was just common for me to have to discard down to hand size if I knew that I didn't want to try to win this counter war or whatever. And now it's like everybody knows what I'm doing. Everybody knows I'm just trying to sculpt my hand to, jam a win when and if I can. It's just so much, and it's good. Like, it's good for the format overall. I've watched several of my local players even like go from being brand new to the format to one of them's won 5 dual lands, and I don't remember what other card he won. I've watched him win 6 events in the last year and a half. So there's definitely been a bunch of like bigger fish in a small pond syndrome recently, which has been interesting to watch.
Yeah,
but it's really
absolutely.
nice to have those kind of people to play test with too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think you should generally like switch up who you're playing with. Like don't play with your buds every single day. It's not good practice. Because then you guys will eventually at some point divulge down to the same play pattern of every game, and then you get to the same victor most of the time.
That's what made me put Blue Farm down for quite a while, was that I was just playing it against the same like 6 or 8 people all the time, and it just got to the point of like, this works at any other table other than these two tables, and I'm just tired of trying to do this anymore.
Mhm.
And then you divulge into like people are like maybe not even doing it on purpose, but the meta just like turns into I'm gonna play this because it's really good against these two decks, and then it's just dog water at an actual tournament.
Oh, paired against 3 Thrasios, use a turn 1 Curse Totem. Let's go.
No, that's still fine. Like it, you leave my ancient Zoom curse totem alone, sir.
Bro, you've done that too many times to me, and I'm just gonna like slap you. You've done it to me with like Curse Totem and Null Rod, and I'm just like, oh, here's a Force of Will. I guess I lose my cards.
It do be like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. You do it to somebody else for once. Like,
They
for
don't
real.
load up the deck. You do.
Hey, listen, my short guy deck is a bit of a beast. Like,
It is. So is my Elevir deck.
I don't think I've lost to Elevir in a hot minute with my short guy deck.
I haven't played it in a hot minute.
Yeah, same. I've been playing other decks too, but like when we played a bunch together, and like I think I was the one who won most of those games, unless
Well, yeah, you
somebody.
told me you literally used to play the deck. Of course, you know how to play against it better than most.
I
You play
played
more
stacks for
interaction than most decks.
years.
Like, yeah, like you have a natural advantage over the average opponent. Like, it just is what it is.
I mean, I don't know about that for everything. I mean, I know being a judge does help me when it comes to
No, I just mean as far
rule
as
stuff,
like
but
between that and then like playing the archetype itself, and you are a decent control pilot. Like, it doesn't help when like other people will remove stacks pieces that are just inherently good against you, and I'm like, you can do that, but I promise you're not gonna win the game. Like,
I
like,
love when you
this
cast Rule
isn't
of
gonna
Law.
end how you want. I've watched it happen way too many times, and it's
Yeah.
infuriating.
Yeah, there was a time I think it was you that cast a Rule of Law, and like I proceeded to basically take 3 time walks, countering like every annoying thing on everybody's turn, and coming back to my turn and just loading back up.
Yeah, it happens, but at the end of the day, like, I'd rather watch that happen than them have protection for said annoying thing, and then we're screwed. So it's like whatever.
But I mean, I think we've covered like the major things on there. Is there anything else you
For
want to
sure.
add, Freedom, to playing against either Thrasios or Blue Farm?
No, because they're good decks, and playing against them means you have to play the deck to like. Despite there's different brews, like the mentality behind Blue Farm is even if I keep a bad 7, I will just draw into good cards by turn 4. Like even if it's like, oh, I'm not getting a really good turn 1 play. It's they mull to get to do a good turn 1, a great turn 2, and a win turn 3. And it won't be the same with Thrasios decks. I feel like they don't try to go for a win turn 3. They go for the win turn 4 and try to get an overwhelming advantage, because Thrasios decks don't sneak up on you. They'll play their creatures. They will then slam a guy's cradle, and then they'll say, "Let's hope my Thrasios draws are good," or they'll do some other infinite mana shenanigans with Kinnan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll
What about
just
you,
play
Mark?
the
Anything
victim.
else you want to add?
Just watch out for Thrasios decks trying to like play this whole poor me, I'm the victim here, where I only have 2 cards in hand crap, and then oops, I have 6 cards in hand. How did that happen? I've seen it happen too many times. It's
Yeah.
really frustrating. Long story short, if you've been having consistent issues against the decks and you don't really understand why, I heavily recommend just finding a version of the deck that you can stomach playing, whether it's a Thrasios pile of some sort or Blue Farm. Just jam it for like a month or like 10 or 15 games, learn the ins and outs of it, and then see what like feels really good about it, and if there's anything you could be doing differently to mitigate some of that on your end with whatever deck you actually want to take to an event.
My one tidbit that I'll add is that if you perceive Blue Farm to be the best deck in the format and they aren't playing cute stuff, cut it from your list.
What are cute stuff that you find in Blue Farm lists? Like,
I mean, I don't see them anymore.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people are really just playing their little mesh at Blue Farm. Blue Farm has like an extra additional 20 cards that I can slap between and basically be the same power level in the same deck. Like, but none of them are really pet cards. Like, I guess when I talk about pet cards, remember during Dockside Meta when people were playing Maryland and with Oppo?
Ew.
Do you guys remember that?
I've
Where
seen
just
that
every
exactly.
upkeep you would just take something from their deck? Like
I've seen that happen
yeah.
exactly once.
like
and it
they
was
tried
in a
that for a
raccoon deck.
while. It did great for like a couple months. It wasn't getting any more wins, and then they ripped it out of their deck. Like these are the cute things I'm talking about. Like, oh, you've got a card that helps you kill the table 3 turns faster, but it's still 2 turns too late. Like, sure, the card is very good in its very specific situation, but we need a card that's more consistent in that and more usable in more situations. You need, like, every card you're going to draw needs to be a banger. Like, that's why, for example, I'm not playing the Cradlestorm decks right now. Oh, opening hand with Displacer Kitten, awful hand. Like,
Yeah.
opening hand with Song of Creation, I'm not ready for that.
I just tried out Zorline and Blue Farm. Perfect example of like, in theory, mid to late game, this bat would let me, put an Underworld Breach back into play, or Heuristic Study, I think, because I think it was non-land permanent. I could be wrong. But it was a creature that had flying, and it did it on ETB or attack, so like the recursion was there. But in reality, it just ended up in underneath a Chrome Mox or pitched to a Gemstone Caverns more than it ever got cast in like 3 months.
Yeah, just cut the cute stuff. You don't need it. You really don't. Like if you complain that Blue Farm like every card they draw is a good card, make your deck do the same.
Fair.
I think that concludes what's going on here at the Tourney Timmys podcast. Personally want to appreciate everybody for watching who does. If you want to go ahead and show some support, go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment. Feel free to add something there spicy. We have fun reading them and we talk to each other about it.
You do that.
Especially on the shorts. Those are fun. But you've been watching the Tourney Timmys podcast, and we're your hosts. I'm Kay.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Burns.
Waiting on that guy. Last little tidbit. We do have a new how-to CDH guide that we're going to be working on as like a series almost. Looking forward to doing that. And if you guys need any singles, Top Flight Gaming's TCG Player store is linked below and is always updating new singles. Check us out.